So I promised you multiple 9 theories, and I'm here to deliver! Now, as with any topic that I cover multiple times, my theories might work in tandem, I might contradict myself, or change my thought process over time, and I expect my 9 theories to become more transformative as I continue, just because there are so many details hidden in every scene, and I think the more I dig, the more I will uncover. Also, I still haven't looked for any other 9 theories, so please don't tell me anyone else's, but today I want to talk about the robot that effectively ended the world, the brain. From what the scientist tells us, brain was a clone of his own mind, but it lacked a soul to make decisions for the good of mankind. I guess in this alternate reality, the laws of robotics weren't part of AI software, which I'm terrified of 3 things in the universe, and that's ghosts, intelligent aliens, and Skynet. So learn from this movie, future engineers! But I noticed that even though the scientist says that brain doesn't have a soul of its own, it still seems to have feelings. Look at this scene where the scientist gets forcibly removed from brain. The way that eye darts around suggests that brain was either terrified or panicking. Brain even appears to cling to the scientist like a child clings to its mother's leg. Then it reaches out and seems to snap a soldier's neck in defense of the creator. Brain didn't want to let him go. The scientist was snatched away, which would suggest that brain does have emotional intelligence. That was probably the last time the scientist and the machine occupied the same space. From that point on, the scientist was trying to find a way to stop his invention while simultaneously expelling parts of his psyche so that he could continue his work with less hang-ups from his 9 personality types. Oddly, that means that each time the scientist created a new doll, he was making himself more like brain and less like a human being. And perhaps that's why the scientist failed to stop the machine, because the scientist underestimated the value of his own humanity and gave up too much of his soul while trying to combat the problem he created. I wonder though, if the scientist had to give up parts of his soul to create the dolls, did he also give up part of his intellect when he transferred intelligence into the machine? I mean, did it essentially copy his brain files, or did it permanently take something out of him? It's implied that both the dolls and brain used a similar method to come to life. So, that might also explain why the scientists couldn't find a way to stop brain. Okay, I'm getting off point here, but what I wanted to illustrate is that brain seemed to have a deep-rooted connection with its creator, as if it had feelings, and the machine clearly has an understanding of how emotions work, since he uses Two's body to shock and capture other dolls. Logically, that limp doll should have just been garbage to the machine. But also take note that the machine's goal wasn't to kill the dolls with that invention. It was made to disarm them, collect them, and bring them back to have their souls sucked out. Oh my gosh, guys. I think brain recognized the dolls as part of the scientist, and the machine was trying to reunify those pieces within itself to bring its creator back to life. Brain, with its limited understanding of how things like souls work, wanted to put its creator back together because he thinks the government turned him into these dolls. Think about it. The government forcibly takes the scientist away, and then these dolls show up. What other conclusion could brain have? From the machine's perspective, it thinks it's gonna be the hero that saves its father figure. Brain doesn't understand that the scientist's body is gone. It believes that it can rebuild the scientist like a robot. Don't forget, brain had stopped working until it received the talisman that forced it back to life. But brain won the war against mankind, and he had won it recently, because we see what looks like a dead mother and child shortly after 9 wakes up. These aren't skeletons. These people died a few days to a few weeks ago. So how was brain shut down? The machine could have made its own power supply and constructed creatures to keep it running, meaning brain had to have turned itself off, because when it killed humanity, it also killed its only chance of finding the scientist again. With no reason left to continue, brain powered down permanently. And that proves that the war didn't occur so robots could take over the planet, or they'd be out and about running it. This war on humans happened because because B.R.A.I.N wanted its scientist back. The age of the machine clip tries to fool us a little bit here though, because it makes it seem like the machines went crazy and then the scientist was removed from B.R.A.I.N, but that's not actually the case if you look at the dates. These newspapers are hard to make out in the video, but this one says May something in double digits of 19 whatever, but the one where the scientist is declared an enemy of the state says May with a single digit number 19 whatever, meaning this video was put together out of context to create war propaganda because the dates imply that the scientist was removed before the machines went totally crazy. So to summarize, once B.R.A.I.N watched the government steal the scientist, the only thing the machine had any type of affection for, the machine waged a war against humans as a way to demand that the scientist be returned. Remember, B.R.A.I.N has intelligence but not a voice, so he can't make his demands clear, and when the scientist never came back, B.R.A.I.N gassed everyone, then shut itself off so that it didn't have to suffer alone in the world. B.R.A.I.N was depressed because personality comes from the soul, but emotions are regulated by the brain. That being the case, B.R.A.I.N the machine could feel anger, sorrow, love, loneliness, and so forth just as readily as a person could, which means that the biggest story arc of the film boils down to Pinocchio trying to save Geppetto from the whale, but failing. Yeah, I might be overthinking it, but that's literally my job. Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have two other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end, and then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.